Assalamu alaikum students and welcome to SM Public Academy Campus 5. I hope you all are doing good and you all are doing great and you all are staying home and staying safe and you all are taking care of all the necessary SOPs. So today we will be having our literature class. So I welcome you all 8th graders to our English literature class and I'm Mrs. Sabar, your English teacher as you all know. So come on, hurry up, take out your English literature novel books, that is The Merchant of Venice and Other Stories, and we will be beginning to read our play today, that is Macbeth. Okay, you all know that you all are familiar with the fact that we began Macbeth last time, and I gave you the introduction to Macbeth, that who was actually Macbeth and what are the main characters here for this play. So today I will be starting the play with you now. Again, I would repeat that we began this play in the class last time, if you all remember. That is when we were having the physical classes in school. We began the play and we also read the first part, but because many of you must have not attended those classes and some of you might have forgotten what we read, so actually I am beginning all this from the start, okay, from the scratch, I would say. So that's why we are going to start reading it again. And if you have already read it with me, then make sure you pay attention to all the important details because you must have received your CT syllabus, CT3 syllabus, okay, on the Google Classroom. Those of you who have seen it, you can easily understand that today we will be repeating again the Thane of Glamis. We are going to begin with the first, topic or the first part of this, and this would be good for a revision for all of those who have already read with this part with me before in the class, because then on Monday you will be having a CT, and in CT you have the Thane of Glamis, that is the first topic of this lesson coming. Okay, so let's begin reading with her. Okay, so open up page number 17, everyone. I want everyone to open up page number 17. On page number 17, the chapter begins. So everyone open up page number 17 and we are going to begin reading here. Okay, Macbeth, the Thane of Glamis. You remember what was a Thane? A Thane was a person who is a commander or who is in charge of a place, and he can take decisions regarding that place, and a Thane is appointed by the king, okay? He's not the king, but he can take decisions regarding his county or regarding his area or regarding whatever place he has been made the Thane of, and he can also not only take the decisions but he can also implement anything that he thinks is right and wrong, and he's actually the commanding officer at that particular place. So Macbeth is the name of the main character of this play, and he was the Thane of Glamis. Glamis is the name of a place. Okay, so let's start reading. Macbeth was a great Scottish nobleman who commanded the army of King Duncan of Scotland. He was called the Thane of Glamis. Palak, please stop opening the cameras again and again. And he belonged to the same family as the king. Okay. So in the first paragraph, we understand that who is Macbeth actually. Macbeth is the commanding officer in the army of King Duncan. Okay. And King Duncan was the king of Scotland. Okay. So this place is actually situated in the city of Scotland, okay, in the country of Scotland, sorry. And the first one, the Merchant of Venice, was situated in Venice, that is in Italy. And then the another play that we read was situated in Denmark, that is itself a country. And this Hamlet was situated in Denmark, and Macbeth is situated in Scotland. Okay, so he was a Scottish nobleman, basically commanding King Duncan's army. But the important thing about him was that he belonged to the same family as the king. Okay, that is, he had the blood of kingship in his veins also. Okay, King Duncan argued with some of his noblemen. They refused to obey him as their ruler, and a war broke out between them. The noblemen were helped by the King of Norway, who landed in Scotland with an army to fight King Duncan. King Duncan sent Macbeth and Banquo, two of his most faithful generals, to attack the disobedient noblemen. So basically, what happened during the reign of King Duncan, although King Duncan was a very good, generous, and benevolent king, he was a very kind and good person, and people used to like him. But again, all whenever there is a king, not all 100% people are satisfied with the king. Some or the other people do have certain issues that they don't agree with the king on. And similar was what was with King Duncan, that some of the people in his reign or in his time, they started a rebellion or a revolt, and they were not happy with the king, and when they refused to obey King Duncan's orders, then there was a fight between them. And who were they helped by, or who was backing them, was the King of Norway, because Norway and Scotland are nearby countries. So the King of Norway, maybe he was planning to attack Scotland and take over Scotland, because definitely in those days it was very common that the kings used to attack the nearby countries, and if they found that okay, they can easily overpower them, then they used to attack them and they used to capture them, and that area was added in their own kingdom. So it was exactly the same with the King of Norway, that he planned to attack Scotland, and he joined those rebellions, or those people who had refused to obey King Duncan's orders, and together they attacked King Duncan's army. Okay, now King Duncan sent two of his most reliable and most brave and intelligent commanding officers, who Macbeth and Banquo. Okay, and these were two of the most faithful and best generals he had in his army, to punish the disobedient noblemen, that is to attack them and to fight with the army of King of Norway and the disobedient noblemen. After a terrible fight, King Duncan's men defeated their enemies, and the King of Norway was forced to ask for peace. In the battle, Macbeth fought with great bravery. All the soldiers and messengers talked about him and praised his conduct. King Duncan wanted to reward him by giving him a new honor. So basically, what happened, that during the fight, it was a terrible fight, but still, like it was difficult to fight. It's, as I told you in the class, even I remember that it is difficult to fight with people who are from inside. That is, if because they know your strengths and your weaknesses. Okay, so these disobedient noblemen, they had been a part of the army of King Duncan, and they knew the weaknesses of his army. So it was difficult to fight with them. It was difficult to have a war with them. But again, because Macbeth and Banquo were two very smart generals, they defeated the rebellion. They defeated these army, and finally, what happened, that Macbeth and Banquo were successful, and King Duncan's army was successful, and the King of Norway, he was asked. He was made to ask for peace, and he went back to his country. Okay, and King Duncan was so happy with the performance of Macbeth in the battleground or in the battlefield, that he planned that he's going to reward him with a new honor. Okay, now what's going to be the new honor that we are going to read forward? So he was, because everyone praised him, his bravery more. Now definitely Banquo was also there, but usually one or the other person lies in the limelight, and in this battle or in this war, Macbeth was in the limelight, and Macbeth, everybody liked the way Macbeth performed in the battleground. Okay, so King Duncan planned to reward him with a new honor. The two generals, Macbeth and Banquo, were returning from the battle across a wild and lonely part of the country. Suddenly, three evil-looking old women appeared in front of them. These old women were witches. Macbeth was frightened by this awful sight, and he asked the witches who they were. The answer he received from the first witch was, "Welcome, Macbeth, welcome, Thane of Glamis." The second witch cried, "Welcome, Macbeth, welcome, Thane of Cawdor." The third witch cried, "Welcome, Macbeth, welcome, the man who will be king." So basically, what happened, that they were coming from a lonely part, from a very quiet part of the country, and what happened, all of a sudden, three evil-looking ladies appeared in front of them. And what were the evil-looking women? Like they were looking like the witches. And before Macbeth or Banquo could like understand what's happening, they started talking. And first, they started talking to Macbeth, and one of them said. The first one actually said, "Welcome, Macbeth, welcome, the Thane of Glamis." Now, if I honor you, or if I call you with your name, That means that if I call you an eighth grader, you are not going to be surprised about it because you know that is what you are, right? Everybody, you call me a teacher, I will not be surprised because I am a teacher. But if you call me a doctor, I'll be surprised that why are you calling me a doctor? I'm not a doctor, okay? Similarly here, that when wait a minute, okay. So what happened when the first witch called out Macbeth was fine, okay, I'm the Thane of Glamis, but the second witch she called out, welcome Macbeth, welcome the Thane of Cawdor. Now Macbeth is not the Thane of Cawdor so far, Cawdor is another place. And then the third witch who finally cried that, welcome Macbeth, welcome the man who will be king. So he was like more and more surprised and astonished that why are these witches calling me, with different titles that even I don't belong to, okay? Okay. Macbeth did not understand these words. He was the Thane of Glamis, but he knew he was not the Thane of Cawdor, and he knew he was not the king. He was so shocked by this act that he could not speak. The witches then turned to Banquo and spoke to him. You are less important than Macbeth, and yet more important. You will not be so happy, and yet you will be happier. Your children will be kings, though you will not. So, what happened? Macbeth was all surprised whatever they were saying and whatever they were talking, and before he could understand and he could ask a question, the witches turned to Banquo and they started talking to Banquo. What did they tell Banquo? That you are not right now. You are not as important as Macbeth is because actually Macbeth is in the limelight. The King Duncan and everybody is like praising him. So this is actually what they're talking about, that you are not much important right now than Macbeth, but you will be more important in the future. And you might not be happy so now, right now, because of definitely you're not being praised, you're not being welcomed so warmly by the king and everything. So that's why you might not be happy right now, but you will be happier in the future. And why you will be happier and more important in the future is that you will not be the king, but your sons will be the kings, okay? Your children will be the kings. And now definitely there is a contradiction here, that if Macbeth is going to be the king, then his children are going to be the kings, right? That's the way the legacy goes on in a kingship. But this was a contradicting remark by the witches, that one place they are telling Macbeth that you will be the king, and at the other place they are telling Banquo that your children will be the kings, okay? Now this is actually physically or like situationally impossible, that how is it going to happen. But this is the way the witches just spoke up, and like what happened then. Macbeth wanted the witches to tell him what they meant, words meant, but it was too late. They disappeared as quickly as they had come. So what happened? Before Macbeth could regain consciousness and he could ask the people, them, or what are you talking? Why is there a contradictory remark, or what do you want, or anything? They just vanished. Okay, they just disappeared and they were nowhere. So Macbeth could not answer or could not question anything to them, and he just heard them what they said, and they just went away. As Macbeth and Banquo were discussing these strange words, two noblemen sent by King Duncan rode up to them to praise them for their victory. They told Macbeth that the king wished to reward him for fighting as well so well in the battle, and had therefore given him a new title, which is the Thane of Cawdor. Now, the first prediction made by the witches, or the first prophecy we call it, actually prophecy. Prophecy is a thing that somebody tells about the future. Okay, so the witches prophecy, or the prediction also you can say, about Macbeth, the first one, it came out true so quickly that as the witches disappeared and they both were standing and discussing what these witches had said, two noblemen sent by King Duncan, they came and they told Macbeth that the king is so happy with your performance in the battlefield that he has awarded you with the new title, the Thane of Cawdor. And this is actually what the second witch has called Macbeth. She called him the Thane of Cawdor. And this is so astonishing and surprising that just now what the witch has told him, he was being awarded by the same title, and moments afterwards he got to know about it. Macbeth could not believe what he heard. When he was sure it was true, he began to think about the other words the witches had spoken. Could he really become king of Scotland? Now, what is happening, because the second prophecy or the second prediction made by the witches have become true, so now definitely he's thinking about the third one. Now, this is actually human nature, that if we see, okay, first of all, we did not believe anything what they said. He said, okay, fine, they were the witches, they were evil demons, they could have lied and everything. And Banquo and Macbeth were discussing all this. But when the first prediction came out to be true, then definitely he starts thinking about the third one, because the third one is like to be the king, and to be the king is like something huge. So he was like, oh, I can be the king actually someday. Banquo remained calm and warned Macbeth not to trust the witches too much. He realized that Macbeth was allowing himself to think dangerous and wild thoughts. But Macbeth could not stop thinking about what the witches had said. He wondered what he could do to make their words come true. He was shocked by the ideas he had. Perhaps, after all, if it was his fortune to be king, there would be no need for him to do anything. Now you see what is happening. Banquo notices that actually Macbeth is being carried away by the thoughts. Okay, he is actually trusting the witches too much, and he's now actually having that expression on his face that his thoughts are getting wild. His thoughts are getting, into the trap of the witches actually, and. This might lead to a lot of wrongdoings by Macbeth. So Banquo realizes this and he tells Macbeth that you don't have to pay much attention to what those witches have said. Sometimes anything said by anybody can come out true. So it is maybe by chance that the witches called you the Thane of Cawdor, and it just turned out true. And don't get too much involved into what they said. But Macbeth could not, stop thinking now, and he was so much, he was thinking that okay, if I can be the Thane of Cawdor today, why can't I be the King of Scotland someday? And definitely, I have the kingship blood in my veins. I belong to the same family as King Duncan, so I have every right to be the king. And when he started thinking about all this, then definitely wrongful ideas, wrongful thoughts started coming to his mind, and he was actually surprised himself that what are the ideas he was having. Definitely, he was having the ideas if the king dies or if he kills the king, and definitely all of these are wrong thoughts, because King Duncan was a good man and he was always very caring and very supportive to Macbeth in all ways. So he should not be thinking like this. But because now he has been put down on a wrong in a wrong direction, or on a wrong track, you can say. So now he is just thinking about how he could be the king. Although it was very clear that if he had to be the king, and if it was written in his fate, if it was in his luck to be the king, then nothing could have stopped him. He could have become the king if it was in his fortune, if it was in his luck. But he wanted to change his fortune. He wanted to change the way things appeared, and he wanted to be the king. Okay. After Macbeth's victory, King Duncan told him that he would like to visit his castle. This would be a great honor for Macbeth. When Macbeth heard this, he asked to be allowed to go home at once to prepare for the royal visit. Before he set off, he sent a letter to his wife, Lady Macbeth. Now, what is happening after Macbeth's victory, because definitely Macbeth belonged to the king's family, so he also had, a castle of his own. And King Duncan asked him that, okay, I'm going to pay a visit to you at your place. And actually, it was a very honorable thing in those days if the king planned to visit somebody's place, and he wanted to honor Macbeth actually with this uh, what you can say, with honor. So definitely he said that, okay, I would like to come to your place. And when Macbeth got to know this, he said, okay, I would not, because definitely if a war ends or if a battle ends, then the generals used to go to the king's castle and report to the king. Okay. So Banquo and Macbeth were actually going to King Duncan's castle to report to him and to tell him whatever happened in the battlefield and everything. But when Macbeth got to know that, okay, King Duncan is actually coming to my place to pay me a royal visit. So he said that, okay, I'm going to go straight to my castle first, because it's no use that I go to King Duncan's castle and then from there I go to my castle. I would make arrangements for the royal visit. Definitely, I'll have to inform my wife. I have to, like, prepare for the visit, because it's a big thing that the king is coming to my place. So he planned to leave for his castle, and he also wrote a letter to his wife, Lady Macbeth. Okay. Now in this play, the name of the wife is not mentioned. Like in previous plays, we had Portia or we had Ophelia or the names like this. In this play, we will read the name of his wife as Lady Macbeth. Okay, Lady Macbeth is the wife of Macbeth, and he wrote a letter to her. Now, what did he write in the letter? Let's see. In this letter, he told her about the witches and what they had said. He also told her that some of the witches' words had already come true. He encouraged his wife to believe that she might one day be the Queen of Scotland. Okay, now what is happening that he is so, anxious, and he's so desperate to tell everyone what the witches had said, and one of the predictions had already become true, that he couldn't control his emotions and his feelings. And what he did, he wrote a letter to his wife, and in that letter he told her that, okay, that I am coming although, and I will be discussing over the matter, and we are going to talk about it, whatever. But let me tell you something, that my I met the three witches, and the one of them told me that I'm the Queen of Glamis. Okay, that is something I'm already. But then another witch predicted that I'm the Queen of Cawdor, and actually on my way I just received this news that I have been made the Thane of Cawdor. And definitely now the third witch said that I might be the king of Scotland. And he started told his wife that, you how would you feel, and how can you imagine yourself being the king of being the queen of Scotland. And this is how he actually infused the idea of being a queen into Lady Macbeth's wife, into Lady Macbeth's mind. And Lady Macbeth was actually a very anxious and a very desperate woman, and she was a very ambitious woman. Okay, she wanted to be the queen because definitely everybody wants to have a powerful position. She was anxious, she was ambitious for the power and the position. And since that day she read her husband's letter, she was all motivated and all looking forward to be the queen, because her husband actually told her this thing, that yes, you can be the queen someday. And this is from where the wrongful actions or the wrongful means all began. Okay, from that day on, Macbeth could think of nothing else. When Duncan told everyone that his elder son Malcolm would be king after him, Macbeth wondered how he could deal with this difficulty. So basically, what happened when Macbeth was actually all the time thinking about how he could be the king. And when during the royal visit, King Duncan was one time sitting, for a feast, and he told everyone that, okay, after me, my son Malcolm. Malcolm is the older son of King Duncan. King Duncan has two sons, Malcolm and Donalbain. Malcolm is the older son, or the eldest son, and Donalbain is the younger son. Okay. And King Duncan announced that, okay, after me, if I die or anything goes wrong with me, then Malcolm is going to be the next king. And when Macbeth learns this, he's definitely disappointed. He's, all upset that how am I going to deal with this situation, because king has already announced the next and follower, okay, the next person who is going to ascend the throne. And if Malcolm becomes the king, then definitely the chances of Macbeth becoming the king becomes less, okay, or they almost just go away, they cancel. So he was like perplexed, he was disturbed, he was thinking that how is this thing going to be possible. Now you see, students, what you have to understand here is that how a good and a nice man, definitely if he was a trusted and a faithful general in King Duncan's army, then he was actually a good man, Macbeth himself. And how a person who is nice, who is coming back from a battlefield, who has just, laid down the victory for King Duncan, and who is actually in the good books of King Duncan, who is actually being honored by a title, it's so much, uh, trapped, I would say, trapped in the word, which is words, that he is actually not enjoying his present position. He's not enjoying that he has been made a Thane of Cawdor, a new place. Definitely, it's a big thing to be a Thane again. He was already the Thane of Glamis, then he becomes the Thane of Cawdor. So he had two positions he was enjoying, and he could have been very happy and very relaxed with it. And he must have been enjoying the fruits of what he had done in the battlefield. But because he was misguided, because he started himself to be overcome by the words of the witches. So what happened that he started following a wrong track. He started taking a wrong direction, because now all his intentions, all his focus is on becoming the king of Scotland. Okay, and definitely so far King Duncan is alive. He has told that, okay, after me, my ancestor, or my next person to the throne will be my son Malcolm. So there are no chances of Macbeth to be the king, and definitely he is again and again thinking now what he could do, how he could face this situation, how he could become the king, and he is misguided all the time. And The person who's going to play a major role here along with Macbeth would be his wife, Lady Macbeth, because definitely, as I told you, she's an overambitious woman now, and she has learned about all this, that my husband has can become the king of Scotland someday. She's going to force him. She's actually going to make him, commit wrongful deeds and do everything wrong to be the king. And she, every time, she's going to tell him that, okay, you can do it, I'm there for your support. Now you see, this is what happens, that if we have good people around us, if we have caring, loving, and respectful people around us, then they always guide us in the right direction. Even if we are misguided, if we have something wrong going on in our mind, and like the way Banquo was there, he was a good person. He read that Macbeth was actually being carried away by the witch's words, and he tried to calm down Macbeth, saying that no, you don't have to, lay a deaf ear to all these things that the witches have said. Anybody's one prediction can come out true. This is no big deal, but stop thinking about it. He was a good man, so he stopped Macbeth from trusting the witches. But Lady Macbeth was actually an anxious woman, and she is actually going to misguide Macbeth more. Okay, she would be the person behind all the wrongful deeds that Macbeth is going to do. So this is what our company matters. That because her company is actually an evil company, I would say, because she was not a good woman by her own self. That's why she is going to mislead her husband also. Okay, so I hope it's clear so far. Any questions, any queries, ask me, or shall we move forward? I'm waiting in the chat box for your answers. If there's anything that you people want to ask me, please ask me right now before I move forward. Anything that was not understood, because on Monday you are going to have a CT from this same topic, okay? You have a CT from the Thane of Glamis. So anything so far that you people want to ask me, because definitely till Monday you will not get any other option. Like classes. This is the last class that we have before Monday. So if there's anything you want to ask me, please ask me right now. Who's Athane? Athane is a person, Abdul Rahman, who has been appointed as a commanding general of a certain city, okay, or of a certain place by the king, okay, and that person can take all the decisions regarding that place. He has actually allowed a freedom to rule over that place under the king, okay. So he was actually the Thane of Glamis. Macbeth first, that is, he was actually the commanding general or the commanding officer for the city of Glamis. Okay, he was allowed to take all the decisions regarding Glamis and to rule that place wisely under King Duncan. Okay, he was not the king; he was only a Thane. That means the king can anytime remove him. Also, okay, he is an appointed general. Clear, Abdul Rahman? Any other thing you people want to ask? Okay, let's answer these questions. Okay, Falak, are you there? Falak Sherhan, are you there? Can you tell me who was Macbeth? Yes, Falak Sher, can you tell me who was Macbeth? Are you there, Falak? Okay, thank you, Hamza Mushtaba, for the answer. Macbeth was a Scottish general under the rule of King Duncan. Okay, so he was basically a general under the rule of King Duncan. Okay, Falak, are you there? I'm waiting for an answer from you as well, Falak. Okay. Okay, he was a brave soldier. Very right, Bilal. Okay, who was King Duncan? Who's going to tell me this one? Who was King Duncan? Yes, Iman Asif, can you tell me who was King Duncan? Iman Asif, are you there? Can you tell me who was King Duncan? Roha, thank you for the answer. Thank you for the answers, but I think Iman is not here. Okay, fine. So, can I have? So, who was King Duncan? King Duncan was actually the king of Scotland. Okay, and if you want to elaborate the answer, you can say King Duncan was the far-sighted and loving and caring and generous, and respectable king of Scotland. Okay. Okay. Let's see who should answer this next question. Manahil Nadeem, are you there? Can you answer me the next question? Why was King Duncan happy with Macbeth? Why was King Duncan happy with Macbeth? Why was King Duncan happy with Macbeth? Manahil, are you there? Okay, Fatma, can you answer me? Why was Fatma Abdul Karim? Can you answer me? Why was King Duncan happy with Macbeth? Abdul Rahman, who was the ruler of Glamis, beta? I asked you the question, who was King Duncan? King Duncan was the king of Scotland, okay? Who was Macbeth? Yes, you can say Macbeth was the Thane of Glamis. Okay, you can't call him the ruler in Glamis. He was the Thane of Glamis. That is the correct way you're going to write it. Okay, and he was a brave and noble general in King Duncan's army. Okay, who was King Duncan? King Duncan was the far-sighted, generous, and respectable king of Scotland. Why was King Duncan happy with Macbeth? Because he was a faithful general, always fought very bravely. Okay. Yes, Fatma, that is right. King Duncan was happy with Macbeth because he sent Macbeth to attack the disobedient noblemen and Macbeth defeated them. Exactly. King Duncan was happy with Macbeth because Macbeth fought very bravely in the battle with the army of King of Army Norway and the disobedient noblemen, and that is why King Duncan wanted to uh, give him the honor of the Thane of Cawdor. Okay, the fourth one. Can I have Zimmel? Zimmel, are you there? Zimmel, can you answer me the next one? What did the three witches say to Macbeth? What did the three witches say to Macbeth? Can you tell me what did the first witch say to Macbeth? Welcome, Macbeth, welcome the Thane of Cawdor, man who was king. Okay, now see students, you have to make sure that you put it down clearly and separately for all the three people. That is, if I ask you what did the first witch say, you will say, welcome Macbeth, welcome the Thane of Glamis. What did the second witch say? Welcome Macbeth, welcome the Thane of Cawdor. And what did the third witch say? Welcome Macbeth, welcome the person who will be king. Okay? Okay, clear? And if I'm asking you what did the three witches say, so you will say the first one said, welcome Macbeth, welcome the Thane of Glamis. The second one said, welcome Macbeth, welcome the Thane of Cawdor. And the third one said, welcome Macbeth, welcome the Thane of, the person who will be king, okay? Okay, the fifth question. What did Macbeth write in his letter? What did Macbeth write in his letter to Lady Macbeth? Thank you, Zimal, for the answer. Thank you, everyone, for the answers. Can you answer me the fifth one now? Okay, can I have Sania Javed? Sania, can you answer me the fifth question? What did Macbeth write in his letter to Lady Macbeth? Bilal, beta, you are confusing both the characters. Read it carefully again. You are confusing. Lady Macbeth could be the Queen of Denmark. First of all, we are talking about Scotland here. It's not Denmark again. Denmark was in Hamlet. It's a way back story. And second thing, Malcolm was the son of King Duncan. And I'm talking about Lady Macbeth there. Sania Javed, you're not here. Okay, let's see what Fawzia Fawad is saying. Macbeth told her lady that about the witches and that told her that one day she can be the queen. Exactly, he told her about the meeting or the way he met the witches and that someday she could be the queen. Okay, this is what he wrote in his letter, that she would be the queen soon. No, thank you Sania for the answer, but he said that she can be the queen someday. Okay, she can be one day the queen of Scotland. When, he did not mention any time frame. Okay, the last one here. How were Macbeth's dreams shattered? How were Macbeth's dreams shattered? Who's going to answer this one? Let's see. Okay, can I have Laiba Najib? Can you answer me? Laiba Najib, the last question here. How were Macbeth's dreams shattered? You know, he was dreaming to be the king, and how were his dreams shattered? What happened that his dreams got shattered? When he killed, no, he didn't kill anybody right now. He hasn't killed anybody so far. How were his dreams shattered? How were all his dreams, broken up? What did the king announce? What did King Duncan say? That all his dreams were shattered, and he was there. He was thinking, how am I going to meet this difficulty? What did King Duncan say? Let me give you a hint. King Duncan said something, right? And that shattered Macbeth's dreams. What did King Duncan say? Yes, girls, I want answers. And where are all the boys? Hamza, Mushtaba, Falak. Falak, you didn't answer me the first question. Answer me now. Okay, Abdul Ahad, can you answer me? Laiba, where are you, bitches? That her daughter will be the queen soon. Whose daughter? Which person's daughter is going to be the queen? I'm sorry, there is nothing like this mentioned. You're not paying attention. Whose daughter? Who queen? I don't understand here, beta. Macbeth and Duncan, there is no discussion about the daughters in the play anywhere, first of all. And second thing, Malcolm is a person, yes, who was discussed. Okay, Fatma Abdul Karim is telling me that when King Duncan said that Malcolm will be the king after him, yes, exactly. Macbeth's dreams were shattered when, you know, that when King Duncan announced that his son, his older son Malcolm, will be the king after him. Okay, so that is, he told who's going to be the king next time. Okay, I hope the chat lesson is clear to you all. And one thing I need to tell you people, that today when you will collect back your literature copies, in most of the copies, the words and meanings were done. Okay, and words and meanings is the assignment that I will be uploading today. Okay, so those of you who had done the word meanings, I have corrected them and I have given you marks. So today's assignment that I will be uploading is already done in some of your copies, and I've already given you marks. In some of the copies it was incomplete. I have written incomplete. Make sure you complete it today after looking at the assignment, when you get all the word meanings. And the assignment that I'll upload on Wednesday will be the questions and answers. So make sure you attempt that and submit your copy on next Friday with the assignment. Okay, clear everyone? Do not get upset. I have given, and most of the copies, the words and meanings were done, so I have given marks on them. That is the assignment I'll be uploading today, so don't worry about that.